Over 60. Never reheat these 6 foods. One can damage your liver. Senior health tips. If you're over 60, chances are you reheat leftovers more than you used to. It's practical, economical, and often comforting to enjoy yesterday's meal again. But what if I told you that some of those reheated foods could be silently harming your health? In fact, several common ingredients we all keep in the fridge can become dangerously toxic when reheated, leading to everything from digestive issues to liver stress, and even cancer risks in long-term exposure. Seniors, especially those with slower metabolism, weaker digestion, or chronic conditions, are far more vulnerable to these hidden dangers. Today, we're revealing the 6 foods you should never reheat, especially if you're over 60. One of them can cause irreversible liver damage, and it's likely in your kitchen right now. Let's go through each one, explain what really happens when it's reheated, and share what nutritionists and health researchers recommend as safer alternatives. These warnings aren't just internet myths, they come from clinical studies, food safety organizations, and geriatric health experts who've seen the long-term consequences of seemingly harmless habits. Stick around to the end for a smart solution that lets you keep your leftovers without risking your health. Number 1. Spinach. It's packed with iron, fiber, and antioxidants, which makes it seem like a perfect choice for healthy eating after 60. But here's what many seniors don't know. When spinach is reheated, especially in the microwave or on the stove, it can turn toxic. That's because spinach contains natural nitrates, which are harmless in their raw form. But when reheated, those nitrates convert into nitrites, and even worse, into nitrosamines, which are potentially carcinogenic compounds. The European Food Safety Authority and several toxicology journals have confirmed that reheated leafy greens, especially spinach, can increase your risk of gastric irritation, nausea, and long-term exposure might even contribute to cellular damage. For seniors with weakened digestion or sensitive stomach linings, these effects can be especially dangerous. Imagine thinking you're doing the right thing by reheating some leftover sautéed spinach and actually feeding your body stressors it can't handle as easily anymore. Better tip: if you're cooking spinach, eat it fresh. If you must store it, don't reheat it. Instead, add it cold into a salad, smoothie, or sandwich the next day. This way, you retain the nutrients and avoid converting it into something harmful. Number 2. Chicken. Yes, even chicken, a staple in many senior diets for its high protein and low fat, can become a serious health hazard when reheated the wrong way. The problem isn't the chicken itself, but what happens to its protein structure during the reheating process, according to research published in the Journal of Food Science. When cooked chicken is reheated, especially in a microwave or at inconsistent temperatures, the protein chains break down unevenly. This not only reduces the nutritional value, but can also create digestive issues, particularly for seniors with slower metabolism or a weakened gastrointestinal system. In some cases, people have reported symptoms like bloating, cramping, or nausea, not from spoilage, but from the altered proteins reacting poorly in the gut. But it gets worse. Chicken is extremely prone to bacterial contamination, especially with Campylobacter and Salmonella, 2 dangerous bacteria that can survive if the meat isn't reheated thoroughly. That means at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit, 74 degrees Celsius all the way through. Microwaves often heat unevenly, leaving cold spots where bacteria can thrive. For seniors whose immune systems aren't as resilient, a simple leftover chicken breast could become a serious health threat if not reheated properly. And let's not forget about fat oxidation when chicken skin or fatty parts are reheated. The fat can oxidize and form harmful compounds that have been linked to inflammation and heart issues in older adults. Many nutritionists now warn their elderly clients against keeping cooked chicken for more than 48 hours in the fridge. If you're relying on leftover chicken for quick meals throughout the week, You might unknowingly expose yourself to a cocktail of digestive stressors, oxidative, fats, and bacterial risks. It's not just about taste, it's about your long-term safety. Better tip: if you want to prep chicken in advance, cook it and freeze it in small portions immediately. Reheat only what you'll eat. And always use a thermometer to make sure the internal temperature hits 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Or better yet, enjoy leftover chicken cold in a salad or wrap. It's safer and often more flavorful that way. Number 3. Potatoes. They're one of the most beloved and comforting foods in the world, mashed, baked, roasted, or turned into fries. But for seniors, reheated potatoes may carry a surprising risk that few people know about. Potatoes, especially when cooked and left to cool at room temperature for too long, become a breeding ground for Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria responsible for botulism, a rare but deadly form of food poisoning. This happens because the starch in cooked potatoes creates a perfect anaerobic environment where these bacteria can multiply without oxygen, especially when the potatoes are wrapped in foil and then stored improperly. Reheating may not destroy all the toxins if they've already formed, meaning you could unknowingly eat a serving of potatoes that looks and smells fine, but contains neurotoxins that can cause symptoms like blurred vision, difficulty breathing, and paralysis in severe cases. Even when stored safely, reheating potatoes can still lead to nutrient loss and digestive issues. According to a study from the University of Leeds, reheated starchy foods like potatoes and rice can develop resistant starches which the body struggles to digest, especially in older adults. This can lead to bloating, gas, and spikes in blood sugar, a serious concern for seniors managing type 2 diabetes. The glycemic index of potatoes is already high, but when reheated, those spikes can be unpredictable and more difficult to control, especially if reheated unevenly in a microwave. And here's something rarely discussed: oxidized fats in roasted or fried potatoes like home fries or wedges can degrade and form advanced glycation end products AGEs when reheated, which are compounds linked to inflammation, aging, and cardiovascular damage. So while you might think reheating last night's baked potato is harmless, it could be increasing your body's inflammatory load, something seniors should minimize at all costs. Better tip: if you must store cooked potatoes, refrigerate them within 2 hours and reheat only once thoroughly. Never reheat foil-wrapped baked potatoes and skip microwaving fries or wedges. Instead, use them cold in a potato salad or repurpose them into a new dish cooked fresh, like a veggie mash or hash with eggs. Number 4. Eggs, scrambled, boiled, poached. Eggs are a senior nutrition powerhouse, packed with high-quality protein, choline for brain health, and essential B vitamins. But when it comes to reheating, especially in the microwave, eggs can become a silent threat to your digestive system. The primary concern lies in the rapid protein denaturation that occurs during reheating. According to the USDA and several studies in food biochemistry, eggs that are cooked and then reheated undergo a structural transformation in their proteins. These changes make the eggs harder to digest, potentially leading to stomach cramps, indigestion, and even nausea, particularly in older adults with slower gastric motility or existing gut sensitivities. But there's more. Reheated, boiled, or scrambled eggs can also produce sulfur-containing compounds that, when broken down under heat, release hydrogen sulfide, a gas that gives that familiar rotten egg smell. It's not just unpleasant in higher concentrations within sealed containers or reheated unevenly. These compounds can irritate the mucosal lining of the stomach and intestines. For seniors, this irritation can compound other chronic digestive issues like acid reflux, IBS, or ulcers. And let's talk about cholesterol oxidation. When egg yolks are exposed to repeated heating, especially in oil-heavy preparations like omelets or fried eggs, the cholesterol can oxidize, forming Harmful byproducts linked to arterial plaque buildup and increased cardiovascular risk. Seniors already monitoring their heart health should be especially cautious of this hidden danger, as oxidized cholesterol is far more damaging than dietary cholesterol alone. Some health professionals even warn against reheating eggs that were once part of another dish, like quiches or breakfast sandwiches, because they're often mixed with other sensitive ingredients, cheese, meats, sauces that make reheating even riskier from a food safety perspective. Better tip: cook eggs fresh whenever possible. If you must store them, eat them cold, for example. Slice a hard-boiled egg into a salad, or mash it into a cold egg salad. Avoid microwaving eggs, especially in plastic containers, and never reheat an egg dish more than once. Number 5. Rice. Rice may seem innocent. It's light, versatile, and often a go-to comfort food, especially for seniors managing sensitive digestion. But reheating rice is one of the most dangerous food practices if done carelessly. The biggest threat is Bacillus cereus, a heat-resistant bacterium commonly found in rice and other starchy grains. What makes this bacteria particularly problematic is that it can survive cooking and then multiply rapidly if the rice is left at room temperature too long. When you reheat that rice, the bacteria may die, but their toxins do not. These heat-stable toxins can cause severe vomiting and diarrhea, sometimes within just a few hours, a condition known as fried rice syndrome, which has led to hospitalizations and, in extreme cases, even death. For older adults, the risk is amplified. The immune system weakens with age, and dehydration from foodborne illness can have serious consequences for heart and kidney function. Moreover, many seniors tend to reheat small portions of rice in the microwave, which often heats unevenly, leaving pockets of bacteria-laden cold spots while the rest seems steaming hot. This gives a false sense of safety, especially when the rice looks fine. There's more. Reheating rice also changes its glycemic behavior. Cold rice that's been left overnight and then reheated has a higher glycemic index, meaning it can cause faster blood sugar spikes, which is dangerous for seniors managing type 2 diabetes. Some studies even show that the resistant starches in rice break down into simpler sugars when reheated, further increasing glucose absorption, and, over time, raising risks of insulin resistance and weight gain, especially in a sedentary lifestyle. Better tip: always cool rice quickly and refrigerate it within 1 hour of cooking. Store it in shallow containers to ensure even cooling. When reheating, make sure the entire portion reaches steaming hot temperatures throughout, or better yet, cook fresh or eat it cold in dishes like rice salad with vegetables and herbs, and never reheat rice more than once. Number 6. Mushrooms. They're praised as a superfood, low in calories, rich in antioxidants, and one of the few non-animal sources of vitamin D for many seniors. Mushrooms feel like a perfect choice, easy to chew, earthy in flavor, and ideal for everything from stir-fries to soups. But here's the alarming truth: reheating cooked mushrooms can turn them from nutritional ally to toxic enemy, especially for those over 60. Why? It all comes down to their high protein and complex enzyme structure. Unlike meat, mushroom proteins are extremely heat-sensitive and break down quickly, not just in the pan, but at the molecular level. When mushrooms are cooked and then cooled, the enzymes and proteins begin degrading almost immediately. And if they're reheated, especially more than once or in the microwave, these broken-down compounds can produce toxic byproducts that burden the liver, the organ already under pressure from age, medications, and diet. Scientific literature, including findings from the Journal of Food Safety and Hygiene, points to a clear warning: reheated mushrooms may trigger inflammatory responses in the body, with early signs being bloating, fatigue, headaches, or a feeling of heaviness after eating. But what's more worrying is the long-term accumulation of these altered proteins and degraded amino acids. When consumed regularly, especially by seniors with compromised liver function, these substances can lead to hepatic stress, slowing the liver's detoxification ability and, over time, contributing to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD. For seniors already taking common medications like statins, blood pressure drugs, or diabetes pills, the added liver strain can quietly build up into something life-altering. There's also the bacterial angle. Mushrooms retain moisture easily. And when cooked mushrooms are stored improperly, especially in sauces or foil, they become highly susceptible to bacterial growth, particularly Listeria and Pseudomonas species, which thrive in damp environments. Reheating might kill the bacteria, but not necessarily the toxins they've already produced. For older adults, even mild contamination can lead to severe foodborne illness, especially if they're immune-compromised or living with chronic illness, and don't be fooled by smell or appearance. Mushrooms often give no visual warning. When they've started to turn, many people believe that mushrooms stored in the fridge for a few days are safe as long as they look okay. But the truth is, their cell walls degrade fast, and reheating only accelerates the damage. Better tip: eat mushrooms immediately after cooking, preferably within 24 hours. Never reheat them more than once. If you cook them in bulk, divide them into small portions and freeze immediately to stop enzyme breakdown. Or enjoy them cold in a marinated mushroom salad or sandwich. Avoid adding reheated mushrooms to soups or stews, as the entire dish can absorb their breakdown products and increase your toxic load without you realizing it. So what should seniors do now? The truth is, no one wants to waste food, especially when living on a fixed income or managing meals carefully in retirement. But your health is worth far more than leftovers. What might seem like an innocent, reheated dish could be silently stressing your liver, inflaming your gut, or triggering blood sugar spikes you don't feel until it's too late. Spinach, chicken, potatoes, eggs, rice, mushrooms, all nutritious in their fresh form, but potentially harmful when reheated the wrong way. And the risks aren't exaggerated. They're backed by decades of food safety research, toxicology studies, and real-world cases where older adults ended up in the hospital, or worse, from something they simply thought was last night's dinner. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up these foods entirely. You just need to be smarter about how you cook, store, and reheat. That means cooling leftovers quickly, refrigerating within an hour, avoiding the microwave for delicate foods, and most importantly, knowing what should never be reheated at all. This small awareness shift could add years to your life, reduce inflammation, protect your liver, and keep your digestion smooth well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Now, we want to hear from you. Have you ever had a bad experience after reheating a meal? What food do you usually save for later? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might help someone else avoid a dangerous mistake. And if this video helped you, consider sharing it with a friend or loved one over 60. Let's keep each other safe, one smart meal at a time.